Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall-Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day, that things are going powerfully and in a flowing way. And we are so honored to have the opportunity to connect in with you. In spring, I always like to look at how can we spring forward. And I'm honored to be part of that journey with all of you. And I want you to be able to get the most out of our time together today. And the best way to do that is to choose to be fully present. I have found a key to springing forward, to moving forward faster, to creating the life you've always wanted, is in slowing down a little bit, so that you can be fully present instead of pulled a million directions. You can allow others to pour into you. And then as you fill up, you're able to move back into the world in a full, sustainable, mindful, purposeful way, which means every step is more effective. Every step is more on purpose. But it takes that slowing down. So I'm going to encourage you to slow down a little bit today. Really give us the opportunity to pour into you. Be open to receive everything that is here for you today, because I promise there is something here for you today. And I know that because you tuned in. By the very nature and choice that you made to tune in means there is something here for you. So be open. Be willing to receive it. Slow down enough to breathe deeply and hear it. And sometimes those insights come from the outside. It can be from something we're sharing. It can also be from the connection we have by slowing down. You're able to be still for a moment and listen, and it can bubble up within you by the environment that's created with us connecting in. So take a moment, breathe deeply. In through the nose, out through the mouth, like through a straw. Beautiful. And as you're breathing, I encourage you to close your eyes. You are absolutely safe. Feel that breath come in. Feel your belly expand and release. This helps slow down our processing a little bit so that we can actually lower our stress levels, our cortisol levels, bring oxygen deeply to every cell in our body, to bring in what serves, release what has served and is no longer needed, so that you make room for more. Beautiful. So as you're breathing, your eyes closed, you're absolutely safe. I want you to think about if someone from the outside was looking at your life right now, would they see that the steps you're taking, the actions that you're taking, are creating the life you've always wanted? Can they see that you're on that path? Would they see it? Can you see it? The things that you're doing, the choices that you're making, what you're listening to, what you're believing, what you're saying, are those showing that you are on that path, creating the life you've always wanted, living the life you've always wanted? And it's important to just check in and see, are you on that path? Am I on that path? And if you discover no, then a great question is, how can I move to take a step on that path? What course correction can we do to shift, to step on the path to create the life you've always wanted? And just feel in. It's with awareness. It's with curiosity. It's seeking, checking in. And then as you're doing that, what is it you need today to support you on your journey? What do you need? Just receive that information. Beautiful. Let's take a breath. Come back into the room. eyes open, fully present, and take a moment to write down that information, the insights, what it is that you need today to support you on your journey. Is there a course correction or maybe I need to spend more time on my path? What are some things I can do? How can I be to be more in the life you've always wanted to have, be the way you want to be in your life? It's great to explore these things, because if we don't stop and check in, we're just kind of hoping. And I think it's better to check in, to feel in. And when there's a course correction, it's so much easier to do it a little bit at a time every day than having to do major course corrections that can be quite shocking and altering to the system. So I encourage you, take that information, write it down, what it is that you need today to support you. Feeling into, are you on that path? Is there a course correction needed? And just see, receive that information. Keep it top of mind. So as we are sharing with you and pouring into you, can write down those insights that are supportive of your journey so that you can create the life and live the life you have always wanted to live, you are called to live, and you are called to create and impact others with. Beautiful. We're going to go around our virtual room today, and as we do that, I'm going to invite each of our amazing experts that when we took a moment to just slow down, pause, breathe, what did they receive? Whatever it may be, it's what they needed today or just an impression, a reminder that touched their heart that they want to share with you today. So with that, Sophia, I'd love to start with you. What was laid on your heart when you took a moment to just listen and receive?
Hi, Rebecca. Thank you. So what was present to me was a profound honor and privilege to be alive during this time, to bear witness to the global reset, where everybody, where humanity is coming back to heart, where people's creativity juices are overflowing, where families are spending so much quality time together in their pods.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I so appreciate it, and that I can feel the depth of that in your voice as you were sharing. So powerful. Thank you. And Leslie, how about you? What was laid on your heart?
Rebecca and Sophia, similar to Sophia, but the opposite end of the spectrum. When you brought up spring, I was thinking about new beginnings and progress and starting over again. And then I actually thought of all the people who, because of the situations the past year, how many weren't happy with the way they were able to pivot or aren't moving forward at the pace they want. And I was sending out a big wish that for those that haven't had the year they desired or are still in the midst of the challenges, that this new beginning allows for new courage and new growth and new opportunities and new safety and new confidence and a new beginning for everyone.
Beautiful. I love when we weave those together, how powerful that is, that we can come together in this space and we can help and support and send that energy out. Every day is a new day. There's a movie, Anne of Green Gables, and a book series, and that was one thing the main character always said: every day is a new day with no mistakes in it. Like we get to restart, every day, and we have this opportunity to move forward. And I love this perspective, Sophia, of this witnessing and seeing this global reset and the wonder and the depth and the magic and the power of that and the privilege we have to be able to come together at a time like this and serve each other and grow and move in powerful, positive directions. And listeners, as we get ready to go to our first commercial break here, I want to encourage you to use these 2 minutes to just dig in a little bit deeper, see what's pouring into your heart, what's pouring into your spirit. And I want you to feel the support and the connection from us coming through the airwaves to support you wherever you're at, as you're pondering moving forward those things that matter most to you, really living the life you are called to live and want to live and create and build, that we are here with you, supporting you. And we will look forward to continuing our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
You have the power to be stronger, live fearlessly, and enjoy the benefits of a great life. Listen for Fearlessly Authentic with host Jody Harrison Bauer. Jody has proven at an age when many start to slow down that she is just getting started. With 2 grown daughters, a successful business that she started at 50, a finalist in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, and a 2-time world bikini champion, she's ready to take you to the next level in your life. Fearlessly Authentic airs Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific on Voice America Empowerment. Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes. You had an opportunity to pause, breathe, and receive that information, that insight, really hear what's being spoken into your heart and into your spirit. And we're going to have those opportunities throughout the show so that you can really integrate the information, the insights on a cellular level, so they actually become part of you. And you're able to, as you step into the world again, bring that with you. Instead of just adding it to your to-do list, it actually starts to become part of you. Oh, welcome back. We're thrilled to be talking with you. And as we're looking at March and springing forward, we're today kind of focusing in on how do you create the life you've always wanted? How do we step mindfully and purposefully into that? So I'm really honored to introduce our first amazing guest, Sophia. She is an international speaker, best-selling author, a philanthropist, and a conscious capital entrepreneur. She's the CEO of WIN, and she owns a hedge fund and is building smart cities that provide affordable housing. She has solo backpacked in over 30 countries and is passionate about helping women be financially solvent, eradicating poverty, and making a positive difference in the world please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful and heart-centered Sophia Livias to the show. Welcome!
Thank you, Rebecca. It sounds so magnificent when you say it all like that.
You are, and we are excited and celebrate having you here today with us. I just so appreciate it and love your commitment and all that you're doing to lift up so many people around the world, and that particular space that supporting women holds for you. So thank you for being you, for leaning in and doing the work that you do. And I'd love for you to take a moment and share why. Why is this work and all the things that you're doing in this space, why is that personally so important to you?
Thank you. Yeah, I had this just burning desire to live a life of purpose on purpose, and like a need that just jumps me out of bed every day to utilize like everything within me, like to be a vessel to be used, to give back and to contribute and to help where I can, and to raise up and actively participate on the court of human evolution.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and why is that? Do you find that that's just this burning desire that you have, this calling that you have?
Yeah. So if I were to look back, I would say my childhood certainly had some formulation in it. I left home at 14. I disagreed with how my father was raising me. I thought I could do better. I left and did way better, and that included living on the streets. And when kids were trying to figure out, like who they're going to go to prom with and go to football games, I was trying to figure out how do I eat and shelter myself. And I saw how limited my mother's options were due to financial resources. And then as I traveled internationally, I saw the same thing over and over again, how finance impacted women's choices and options. And it just became a burning desire with me.
Thank you for sharing that, because I feel like so often people see this snapshot, this moment where we're at, and they don't always know the journey. And I think it's helpful to know some of that journey and walking in those shoes, and that you really come from a place of understanding and seeing it personally and seeing it on a global level. And that makes you especially and powerfully equipped to do all the work that you are doing to help shift these things. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate your willingness to be a vessel to serve and support in so many powerful ways. And I'd love for you to share a little bit of what you're doing around helping women be more financially solvent. I'd love for you to share some of the work you're doing and some tips in that space.
Absolutely. So that is my absolute passion there. I have it that when women are financially solvent, there's absolutely adequate proof that they go further in their education. They have kids later in life. They have fewer kids. They choose better domestic partners, and they take better care of their mental and physical health. So right there, if you just focus on women, you've solved the majority of humanity's challenges right now, just by making sure they're okay. And I'm 6 weeks into the CEO of WIN that you had mentioned, which is Women's Information Network. We are the organization that hosts International Women's Day. So we are just coming off of that now. And the one thing that I have been saying in all my interviews recently is that crypto, for women to get into cryptocurrency, into blockchain. First of all, blockchain is the number one most sought after, most highly paid skill in the entire world. And there's no classes or courses on it in the universities. It's all stuff that you can just learn on the internet for free. So that levels the playing field right there for women. And when you get into crypto, you can fund your businesses and you can move in spaces without financial institutions, which again, levels the playing field for women. And it's a way, you can easily 30x, 60x your money in that field and raise funds for your company.
So powerful. And in saying that, it sounds like you're encouraging women to take steps in this financial space and create your own business, bring your genius, your brilliance forward. For someone who that's just a a new thing to even explore, and it can feel a little bit daunting. Do you have some suggestions or advice? I love the going online and learning and being able to take some steps on there. But what are some things that people can do if they don't have their own business or they haven't really even thought of that before to explore that, resources they could tap into?
Yeah, whatever stage you're in, I highly recommend two things. One, collaboration. Collaborate with other people that are in the space and where you want to be. The other thing is mentorship. Seek a mentor. Find somebody that is there, that's at the level that you want to achieve, and request some guidance and mentorship. And just, if you're in Clubhouse, that's an incredible space to be in. I run the only women-only crypto and NFT space on Clubhouse currently. I'm happy to answer any questions. I make myself available through there. I'm also all over, there's all kinds of women, and you can just Google and look up the women that are into crypto or just people that you really relate with, and read as much as you can. It's faster, though, if you find a mentor. So find somebody that you gel with, that you look up to, that's achieving and is in alignment with your heart, with your spirituality and your heart center and where you're trying to go, and ride along with them.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that. And, I love that you're bringing up Clubhouse and some of these additional ways that we can connect and we can learn, and that we don't need to try the journey on our own. We can get support along the way, and we can go faster with the mentorship and beautiful, important reminders about making sure it's someone that you gel with, that they're further along the journey and they're moving in that direction, or they're in that space that you're wanting to achieve, that you can learn from them and get support. But making sure there's an alignment in that heart space and in what is pulling you forward, I think is great advice. So as we're looking at all of the things you do, because you do so much. So listeners, I encourage you to get to know Sophia, go deeper. We're going to share her contact information towards the end of the show so that you have a way to connect and learn more. But I'd love for you to take a moment and just share a little bit about some of the books that you have brought forward, just additional resources for people.
Yeah, so this is also another, so I practice, I practice what I speak. So I co-collaborated on my first two books. One is entitled When I Rise, I Thrive, and Manifestations is the other one. So you guys can get a sense of, who I am just from the titles of the books and what I will participate and put my name on. So these are books that show about walking through the fire. Many people, especially with COVID, every single human being was affected in one way or another with this last, thing that everyone's dealing with. And these books talk about all the different fires that we walk through, and it gives you, and not just like surviving, but what it means to thrive from your circumstances, and how your circumstances don't define you, and how you get to co-create with the universe, with God, with whatever your spiritual affiliation is, and how, what you can do to move and shift from that space that you might be in and fill that gap to where you want to get to.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And do you mind sharing the titles just one more time if anyone was taking notes so that they're able to capture the titles of those books again?
When I Rise, I Thrive, and Manifestations.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that. And as you're reflecting on what we've been talking about today, I just wanted to create some room for you to share if there are additional pieces of information or insight that you would like to add to our conversation today. I just wanted to kind of open up the space for you to share from your depth and experience.
I would say that collectively, all of us are feeling this new empowerment. As women, we're feeling it. The whole world is feeling it. It's our opportunity to seize those positions of leadership, to authorize ourselves to take those leadership roles, and to generate and create the space The men have done an incredible job in getting us to where we're at with humanity so far. And as women, we come from collaboration. We have the opportunity to generate the space to bring humanity into the next realm, like into the next part of our chapter of history. And so each one of you that hears my voice right now, there's something burning in you, something that you've stuffed down. There's these whispers that came up with, well, when the kids leave the house, or, if I didn't have to work so much, and now you've got a lot more time freed up because some of you are learning about remote working and whatnot. So listen to that voice. You're who we've been waiting for. And Les Brown, he always talks about don't die with that genius inside you. Mm-hmm. And I really feel that. Every one of you, you've got a calling, you're hearing it, it's burning in you. All of us, however you see any of us that are up here on this lovely stage, all of us have our doubts. We all have extreme challenges and pressures, and if you will just band together and seek solace in your tribe of all these women, we really have an opportunity to shine and show humanity how it can look going forward.
Thank you. I appreciate that powerful share, that urging, that reminder to really listen to that calling, that urging that you are who we have been waiting for, and to really create this opportunity today, this reminder today for everyone listening to respond to that. Don't just pass it by. Don't just say, oh, that was inspiring. No, answer the call. Choose to step forward. Bring forward the gift of you. Sophia, I really appreciate you joining us today. Celebrate all that you're doing. I know we'll have you back on at the end to share your contact information, but I do want to take a moment and thank you for sharing from your heart, from your spirit, from your wisdom and experience with us today. And listeners, as we get ready to go to our next commercial break here, I want to encourage you to really take a moment to answer that call, to really receive all that has been shared that is speaking to your heart, to your spirit. Give yourself an opportunity to receive that. Breathe it in, process, take some notes, stay present, and we will continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
Rebecca Hall-Griter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Do you have executive function challenges? Actually, these are a lot more common than you would think. These challenges include time management issues, organization, planning, focusing, memory, and problem solving. If this sounds like you, you'll want to check out Focus on Success. With Fawzia Kosti, you'll hear from professionals that offer advice based on their expertise and provide solutions to improve your life. Focus on Success can be heard Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, noon Eastern, on Voice America Empowerment.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. That's EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall-Griter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to empowering women, transforming lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that you have an opportunity to really take in that powerful information and insight. Do you feel that pull, that call on your heart? Are you feeling that energy, and are you responding? Are you taking action based on the information you're receiving, based on the pull, the calling that is coming through? We're going to continue our conversation. Very excited to introduce our next guest, who is going to be adding to the conversation, adding to how do we create the life you've always wanted? How do you create that? How do you get to bring that forward? What are your steps in that dance? So it is my honor and my privilege to introduce the amazing Leslie. She has risen from the ashes of loss, abuse, betrayal, and illness to courageously rise up and create the life she's always wanted. And now she is compelled to reach back and support and inspire and help you step into your courage and be able to build the life that you've always wanted. She's a #1 international best-selling author, an international award-winning speaker, and she's on a mission to help you find your courage to create outrageous achievement in your life. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful and dynamic Leslie Zann to the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Rebecca. Nice to be with you today, and hello to all the listeners. You're just a pleasure.
Welcome, welcome. Excited to have you joining us. And I love that, absolutely. And I love how willing you are to share your journey with others, to make the information and the things that have made such a change in your life so available and accessible to people, that you're willing to stand in that place and help others. And I just celebrate that and appreciate it. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about why is it so important to you to help people do this, to help them build the life they've always wanted, to achieve outrageous achievement? Why is that personally so important to you?
You know, one of my top core values is service. Right below health, I would say it's service. And at 61 now, I've been through a lot in my life. Never had a life and death situation, but I've had a lot of what I call the B traumas, right? I've been very sick and had my house burned down, lost all my stuff. I was bankrupt in my 20s. I've had divorce and betrayal. You know, I've just had a lot of the B traumas. And each time as I overcame these obstacles, these challenges, there were so many lessons. And as I began thinking about it and doing the personal development work, I realized there really were tools and concepts that I could put into practice so that when the next obstacle came, I could deal with it better. I mean, I certainly can tell you I deal with it better today than I did in my 20s. Mm-hmm. And I've just been inspired to get that message out to women so they know they do have options to not just come out of an obstacle, but be stronger and more empowered from the experience.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And one of the word choices that you used when you were sharing that I just want to highlight for everybody was, it wasn't if that next challenge comes, it's when. So that we're expecting that there are going to be obstacles, there are going to be challenges, there are going to be things that are coming up. So how are we resilient? How are we growing? How are we able to come out on the other side of that or in it in a more powerful and empowered way? So I noticed that word and I went with the when word, not if. And I thought that was really important because I think sometimes we're surprised or why me or there's another challenge. I thought I was through all of that and that's kind of part of life. So let's build the skill set and the ability to be able to overcome and thrive. Do you want to add anything to that?
I would. There's a very well-known phrase. Most people don't know who it comes from, but they've all heard it from Vince Lombardi. It's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get back up. And I shift that just a little bit and say it's not whether you get knocked down, because we are going to get knocked down. It's whether we get back up transformed. And that, Rebecca, is a choice. We can get back up and become a victim, or we can get back up and have lessons and choose to learn from those lessons and continue to move forward. And I really believe getting up is in a quick 2 parts. Number one, it's the speed you get back up. I mean, how long do we stay fetal on the floor? It's not only the speed in which we get back up, but it's the mindset we create as we get back up. So let's get off the floor. Let's know we're a champion. We may not know the answers of how we're going to move forward, but at my lowest of low, there was always a little voice in the back of my head that said, Leslie, this can allow you to be the best Leslie you can be if you choose to make it so.
So powerful. And that reminder, we can rise up again. We can use this as an opportunity to become the best of ourselves that we can be, that we can become that victor and victorious, even in those challenging situations and circumstances that do happen and will happen in our life.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you so much for adding that in and sharing. And I know there's, there's so many things I want to ask you, so I'm choosing. So I think the next piece I would love to have you share about, because I want to dig into the content of your powerful book that you just recently received. And I want to ask you questions about it because it's so good. But before I can ask you questions about your book, I'd love for you to share about it. Your #1 international best-selling book, Outrageous Achievement. Do you mind sharing a little bit about this book? It was just recently received so powerfully around the world. I'd love for you to give our listeners a little bit of information, the full title, and your vision of this book and what you're hoping people receive from it.
Thank you. Well, as you said, the title is Outrageous Achievement. The subtitle, Tapping into Your Limitless Potential to Create the Life You Always Wanted. And I sit before you, Rebecca, full of humility and gratitude at how positively the book has been received, the notes and the comments. And it's just really striking a chord. And it really was my way of taking the concepts and the ideas and the lessons that I spent the last 30 years writing about, speaking about, presenting about, coaching about, and poured them into a book and wove my personal stories throughout the book. So it's really not about me, more the lessons I learned as I went through these obstacles, as I said. So to me, it's a blueprint for success for anybody. It is a blueprint to not only get more clarity around where you want to go, how to overcome the fears that are keeping us stuck, how to realize when you're settling and then making that choice of whether to settle or not. And the final chapter, tie it all up with passions, like how passions drive our behavior, how awareness of what we're passionate about sends us in the direction we're supposed to go. So it's really been a marvelous experience.
I'm so glad, and I know it's such a powerful book. It's gotten just so many comments and shares, and people that have already been reading it and writing reviews and sharing their thoughts and how their lives have been touched. And I've watched some of you, your readings from the book and sharing and the hearts and lives being touched by that. So thank you for bringing your book forward, being willing to open up your life to share those things that you have learned, to give people this blueprint for success and to support them on their journey. And some of the things that you talk about, because there's so much richness in this book, but you talk about how people can settle and people please. And those are things that can hold us back. So I'd love for you to share about how we can recognize when we might be settling or people pleasing, and what we can do about that, and why it's important we do something about that.
Yeah, I was at a conference and I was listening to Craig Valentine, who's a champion Toastmaster speaker, and he turned to the audience and he asked us a question: are you letting your good enough get in the way of your great? And we just sit with that. And boy, I started crying. I had to leave the ballroom. I missed his whole shtick. I fell apart for about 45 minutes, and that was the moment I realized that in so many major areas of my life, my marriage, my career, my health, that yes, I had been letting my good enough get in the way of my great. I had been settling. And just that word, settling, can create such a visceral reaction for all of us. When I speak on it, I see the body language shift in the audience. And so I've given this so much thought and given it so much attention because I believe it's pervasive. Too many of us are settling for less than we want, less than we desire. The number one reason I believe is because we're not aware that we're settling. We may be disappointed, we may be frustrated, we may say we don't like things the way they are, and yet we're not prepared to make a move. And I think the main culprit there is that settling is a byproduct of fear. In fact, I talk in the book about the 5 universal fears of rejection, failure, success, judgment, change. These fears that are keeping us stuck or keeping us settling in areas in our lives, major areas in our lives, and creating more dissatisfaction than the joy, the empowerment, the courage, the creativity that's waiting for us on the other side of that fear.
So powerful. So would you say the first step in addressing settling is asking the question, bringing that awareness?
Yeah.
And then
change, I believe, in all areas. Excuse me. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead. Yeah.
Change begins with awareness in all areas. So yes, I agree with you 100%. And
Beautiful.
Yet you got to be prepared. You've got to be courageous enough to really ask yourself, am I settling? It's not a comfortable situation, but yet if we're going to go on a journey to greatness, a journey to be our best selves, it's not always easy and it's not always comfortable. That's a big lesson I've learned. I'm in a place now.
Leslie, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Your phone's breaking up a little bit, so I'm just going to repeat a couple key things that you shared. But that willingness to really ask that question and with curiosity and listen to the answer, and then that reminder that on the journey to greatness, on the journey of really building the life that you want, it is work. My dad always says, hard's not a reason not to. Hard's not a reason to not do something. Some things are hard, and it's worth the journey. So that recognition, sometimes things are work and can be a challenge, and that you also shared about being uncomfortable. That it's part of that growth, part of that journey, that stretching. It's being uncomfortable at times as you're stretching and growing, and you're willing to do the work. You're willing to be uncomfortable, stretched, and grow to go where you are called to go and create all that you are called to great. And I think that's important for all of us to remember. Just because it's hard or it's stretching or it's work, that doesn't mean that's the time to back away. That can be the time to lean in and to press forward. So with that, I'm going to move us to our next commercial break. And as we do this, I want to encourage everyone to really think about what Leslie has shared. And are there things that you're settling in? And lovingly, with curiosity, explore and see. And if it's a yes, then maybe look at how can you move forward to greatness in that area. How can you take some steps and change and be willing to be stretched and uncomfortable and step into your courage to build the life you're called to build, to share your greatness with the world, because you are absolutely needed, especially for such a time as this. We'll look forward to continuing our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
The White House doctor makes house calls. Listen every week for House Calls with Dr. Connie Mariano. Dr. Connie has served as the White House physician under 3 U.S. presidents. Now, she joins the Voice America Empowerment Channel to help you enrich yourself physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Our guests will include professionals from a variety of fields who will bring you tips that you can apply to your own life. Listen for House Calls with Dr. Connie every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and you had that opportunity to really feel into all that is speaking to your heart and to your spirit today, as we had this opportunity to have just 2 amazing guests share powerfully from the heart as they were led to serve and support you on your journey. And something that happens sometimes when we have a really transformational show, powerful content, I find sometimes it's so powerful, it can actually disconnect guests sometimes, and that actually happens. So I'm going to share the contact information for our 2 powerful guests. I want to encourage you to lean in and connect with them, but I want you to hear that power, that intent, those messages that they were speaking to you, to your heart and to your spirit. That even with lines and disconnection, we are still connecting. We are still sharing. We are still here with you, heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit, to encourage you, to empower you, to step forward. You are needed. You are valuable. There is no one else just like you in the world. And the biggest gift you can give the world is sharing more of you, whatever that may look like, whatever ways you have in your connections, in your interactions with how you are being in your life, I want to encourage you to take steps mindfully and purposely to share more of you, your you-ness, the gift of who you are. Be willing to take steps mindfully, purposely to ask some of these hard questions and listen to the answer. And then based on that information, make a choice, because you can choose to bring yourself forward. You can choose to create the life you've always wanted. And Sophia and Leslie are here to support you, as am I, on your journey. So let me share their contact information. So Leslie Zann, that's Leslie, Zann, Zann. You can find her website at lesliezann.com, and her contact information is there. So I encourage you to lean in, follow her, get to know her, reach into the resources of her powerful book on Amazon. Multiple books, actually. Reach into those resources that are there and available for you. And then Sophia, I want to make sure you have her information. So Sophia, Sophia, Sophia Olivas, Loliv as in Victor, AS. And her website is www.utopiasmart.city. www.utopiasmart.city. And you'll find her information and contact information. Both of our guests are very available, involved on social media. I encourage you to follow them, connect with them, reach out, and I'll share my contact information as well. Sometimes I just rely on the commercials for that, but I want to make sure again that I'm available as well if you have a pull and call in your heart and you want to connect. My website is yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. That's yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. And if you scroll down, you'll see all my social medias. You'll see a button you can click to meet with Rebecca, and we can have a conversation. So today, take some time at the end of the show. Process what has been shared. Take 2 minutes for you. Process on a cellular level. And then with a deep breath and excitement, choose a step to take today to create the life you've always wanted, to bring the gift of you forward. Choose to take those stretching steps to get different results. Be willing to take different steps, different actions to bring forward those things that matter most, to go for great. Have an amazing week, everyone. I'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter.
Next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, with a replay on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Variety Channel.
Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.